day. Wait, what's the cab? Stay, dine and enjoy summer with great deals.
Holy Tablets, page 137.
I don't, why would we allow ourselves to, why are we in this condition? Why can't what's in us, the inner being, could be brought forth, and the greatness that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala put upon us? Our ancestors, these are things that our ancestors did, and we are the children, our children's children. No, your ancestors, let me correct you, your ancestors will also be visited by beings to try to help them, because in the realm that they were in, they had their degree of devilishment also. You follow? Lot, don't forget Lot turned against Abraham and went down to Sodom and Gomorrah because he thought it was a better place to be. So he turned against the village of peace and went into the city of New York, to the village in a figure of speech, and wants to live in the village with those kind of people. It's been going on for a long period of time, and beings have been trying, but see, what is long to y'all is short to us. What 6,000 years is less than a day to us. The whole information of your whole planet can be absorbed in a couple of minutes by any master. All the information of your whole planet. You're developing rapidly, much more rapidly than you're supposed to. Because you'll find the abundance of beings surrounding this earth plane, trying from different galaxies to keep you people from being destroyed by the cherubim. And we're trying to wake you up soon enough to get you back, but it seems almost impossible. So many people have learned to love the cherubim as opposed to the seraphim. You tell me who Yanun is. Yanun is an extraterrestrial being who incarnates into the body of Imam Isa to pass on information to you. He is one of the elders, the 19th. He resides in the 8th galaxy of the 19 galaxies. And they do travel by ships, as you would call them for lack of a better word. And they've been intergalactically traveling and coming to this planet since 11,500 years ago. And Yanun is one of the masters that's been assigned to awake you people up. But you people are a portion of ancient verse of the Jabarians, as you probably don't even know what that means, right? And some of you must be woken up, and so master would come. The master that you saw was called Rama. If you would have gotten a closer look at him, he comes from 4,000 years before Jesus. If you would have got a closer look at him, you would have saw that he had white hair and red eyes. He's a caramel complexion, fairly thin. And his name is Rama. He visits this planet many times. He lives in Shambhala. I don't care how crazy this sounds to you. One day you'll find out it's true anyway. And in the center of your planet, there is another world. In the center, there's subterranean pathways to different chambers in the center of your planet. The pyramids are entrances there, and so are the pyramids out in South America and the Nairobi Desert, and out at the Antarctic is the entrance in. And Yanun is one of the masters of the school of the bird. They call it the feathered bird. This is why in South America, when they look over the sky and they see this image of this bird on the ground, that is his school. So certain arriving masters to this plane knew what school they would go to. Each galactical, what do you call it, body had their own school on this planet. Muslims don't realize it throughout the Holy Quran, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking about angelic beings coming to earth, you've turned them because of Christianity in the 18th century into little white babies with wings. When you're talking about terrestrial beings or extraterrestrial beings who have been visiting y'all for a long period of time. Because some of you are the sons and daughters of extraterrestrials who came here, and you subterranean parts of the planet, and they just come up to either ascend to the earth to teach man, or they will make intergalactical communications, leave and come back. And this is what Elijah saw. This is what Jesus said when he said he was caught up in a whirlwind and the clouds went up. The whirlwind and the cloud is the ship itself. Elijah was taken up in a chariot. Enoch was translated to heaven by a chariot. It's throughout the scriptures. And 3 men visited Abraham at his tent.
Dr. Malachi Z. York, who and what are you? The video is 36 minutes long. However, I'm going to go ahead. I did come on live to try to catch up on the reading.
Imagine yourself clothed in the royal garb of the Egyptians, standing, looking
Page 136, we're going to start off.
beautiful, clear water of the
I
Nile.
think I have it on here as 137.
As some gaze up in admiration, others busy at their chores. In your kingdom, Egypt, where your seed, your soul, your birthright, where your blood, your sweat, and your tears.
Chromatic visualization,
Now,
9 minutes.
it is nice to be
I'm going to let that play.
but it is more important to just be nice. You know the story that each journey is begun with one step. Well, you have been taking step 1, 2, and 3. You take yourself as a rough, raw, uncut stone and carve yourself into a perfect stone to become one of the building blocks for a better life. Taking a good person yourself and just making yourself better. This is the purpose of the ancient Egyptian order. To change the soul, the mind, and the spirits of all human beings. To shun aside faith, belief, fiction, and myth, and replace it with reality. What is real? You exist. What's the first reality? If you exist, those from which you came also exist. And this link is your soul seed back to the source of God. This tape is called visualization because you learn to sit back and turn inner vision into outer realities. You learn to sit back and turn what seems unreal to real. But first, you must absorb the sound of this most ancient instrument called the duduk. And let it move through your body. Let it surge through you. Feel you. Feel its warmth. Feel the voice. It's a tone like the Om. You must keep stored in your subconscious at all times, so that you can refer back to it, even if it's not playing in the present world. This is a gift that you will learn in the ancient Egyptian world. Before you start this mission, just sit back. Put this CD or tape on. Isolate all other sounds and merge into it. While there, you may want to cry. You may feel a surge of joy, a strange kind of stimulation. It's because this tape is in tune with you. It's the voice of your ancestors, all the way back from mother and father to grandmother to grandfather to great-grandfather, and all the way back to the source of all the original vibrations of earth, of which you are part. Meditate, relax, take 9 deep breaths, breathing in through your nostrils and out through your mouth. In your nose, out your mouth, the proper way to breathe. Only close your eyes when you feel ready to relax. Envision an energy, a far distance. It's crystal, its beautiful colors are coming from you. It's for you. It loves you. It wants to embrace you. Open your arms and let the light come towards you. Let it hit your body. Let it penetrate all through your body. Feel the joy and love and concern and the power of this great energy. See the arms of the energy extending and wrapping around and pull you into its bosom. It's of the great sun, Ra. Know it's where you belong. Know it wants you there. Know that it will protect you against all negative forces. It builds a psychic self-defense. Because whenever you imagine this sound, you see an energy rush towards you, and it will wrap its arms around you and create a world of pure energy moving around you and your circulation. 3 rings, one at the bottom, clockwise, one in the middle, counterclockwise, and one at the top, clockwise, representing the 3 great energies, Atum-Re, Atum-Re, and Amun-Re. This is the loving energy of the inner trinity, the reality. Let the energy surround you right now. Feel it. Feel its love. Feel its presence. But most of all, feel the power of its protection against all evil and negative forces. Hey, you, a child of the Mercury. Until I speak with you again, become an Egyptian in the ancient Egyptian order. Wondering, Camarades.
101. The name U2, the sun, as Ra. The sun and the tech, the Tontis, the Happy, and the Navajo deity of this needs to be charged. Is it 2 minutes yet? Let's go ahead and finish off this page and end the live. So finish off. So page 169 is figure 47, the Mayan god of the wind. I can't cheat spirit. Figure 48, the godlike head has the eye of mouth characteristics of the Almec scripture. Is page 170. Page 171, figure 49, Hernando Cortez. Page 172 came from the Pacific, the Aztec capital, and unopposed in November 1519 AD. This was a stepping stone of Cortez' eventually conquest of Mexico. Thus thinking Cortez was quote, they turned all the gold over to him, showing him and his crew the massive amount of gold stored in the underground caverns in what is called Ecuador today. Cortez was easily thought to be Inca because he was 6 feet tall and he had a beard like the description they had of Inca, when in fact he was not Inca. He was a Spaniard of European descent, part of a larger plan to deceive the Native Americans out of their gold. Inca's restriction from nurturing to earth he did not like, but was forced to comply. Since all did not go well with Inca, the transportation of the gold had been slowed up. Thus, my child, more Anunnakis were sent. They came down in groups of 50s. Some of the groups was led by Marduk, meaning leader of the deity, son of Enki, and Damkina, or Damgina, as Damquina, blood of the 50 earth. She was a faithful wife. The plan that Enki had, which was to extract gold from seawaters by laboratory-like processes, did not work as well as was expected. However, the gold was still badly needed, and the Anunnakis faced a tough decision. To abandon the project was out of the question, so they had to find a new way to getting the gold, which was through mining. By way, the Anunnakis knew that there was a lot of gold in the Abzu, the primordial source, or Gulab. Abu was also called Monodapa, located in what is now Zimbabwe, formerly called Rhodesia, then South Africa, which was then called Raphaelite. 7:59 p.m. on my alarm. Give the gift to care. However, the African gold had to be extracted from the depths of the earth through mining, and the Anunnaki had to go from the easy water treatment process to a hard tour process, which was to extract the gold from below the surface of the earth. They called it Abadan. By that time, Enlil, meaning ruler of the skies, or Nanamir, meaning the light of fish, which was his other name, son of Anu, and Antum, was sent down to take charge of the Earth mission and recognize the gold deliveries to Nibiru. This caused a rivalry and jealousy between the two brothers, Enki, god of the earth, and Enki, god of the heavens, who were sons of Anu, the Most High God. The male species of the dragon people didn't want to cooperate with brother Enlil. They naturally preferred the path of being clear to confirmation. The mouse species of the dragon people didn't want to cooperate with Brother Enlil. They naturally preferred Enki. As he was one of them, being the son of a Draken, or a being from the Dragon star constellation. His mother Ila was a Draconian. There was many strands and different breeds of Dracon, one commonly known as Vulcan, that were living in the sea, also known as the living in the Bermuda Triangle and stuff like that. And Mu in Atlantis, not to be mistaken with another type of Melachinians called the Primitive, and the Falcons that lived in the sea. So 8:01 p.m. on my alarm, give your future self some advice. Follow through on your plans. Enjoy the attention. Do the grunt work. Be your own best friend. Are you using your voice, your vices as a crutch? Are you looking for imperfection? Are you looking for clear opinion? Are you looking for agreement? And that is the reading of L's holy tablets. I'll be back. Let me go ahead and let this charge up a bit. I have to come back for the Alice in Wonderland. Dancers wrap themselves in thorns. I lost my spot. The sacred animal is the snake. Chastisement band of bearded the Kukota, the other, his expedition, Native American of. So it started on 137. Yeah, we gotta go to 187. We're gonna go on 187. That's the last one I heard. This needs to be charged. Is it 2 minutes yet? Let's go ahead and finish off this page and end the live. So finish off. So page 169 is figure 47, the Mayan god of the wind. I can't cheat spirit. Figure 48, the godlike head has the eye of mouth characteristics of the Almic scripture, is page 170. Page 171, figure 49, Hernando Cortez. Page 172, came from the Pacific, the Aztec capital, and unopposed in November 1519 AD. This was a stepping stone of Cortez' eventually conquest of Mexico. Thus thinking Cortez was Cortot, they turned all the gold over to him, showing him and his crew the massive amount of gold stored in the underground caverns and what is called Ecuador today. Cortez was easily thought to be Inca because he was 6 feet tall and he had a bearded-like description they had of Inca, when in fact he was not Inca. He was a Spaniard of European descent of a larger plan to deceive the Native Americans out of their gold. Inca's restriction from nurturing to earth he did not like, but was forced to comply. Since all did not go well with Inca, the transportation of the gold had been slowed up. Thus, my child, more Anunnakis were sent. They came down in groups of 50s. Some of the groups was led by Marduk, meaning leader of the deities. So I'm going to just start at 174. Damkina, or Damkina, as Damquina, blood of the 50 earth, she was a faithful wife. The plan that Enki had, which was to extract gold from seawaters by laboratory-like processes, did not work as well as was expected. However, the gold was still badly needed, and the Anunnakis faced a tough decision. To abandon the project was out of the question. Page 174. We're from the Mizar constellation, which is also referred as the Zeta Reticuli. They originated from the planet Meldeck. However, when their planet was destroyed, some took residence on the planet Earth, while others took residence in the constellation Draco and Zeta Reticuli. One group was known as the Primitives, and one was known as the Dragon or Draco. Both of these beings were testing with humans in hopes of breeding more humanoid beings to take over the planet Earth. The Primitives from the Bermuda Triangle, sometimes called Atlantis, refused to cooperate and surrender to their ancestors. The ones who came in were hoping that the Primitives from the Bermuda Triangle would accept the old ways from when they lived on the planet Meldeck and follow their old leadership. However, they were wrong. So there has been a battle going on planet Earth, beneath it, and interdimensionally between the two groups of reptilians and greys. One group is set on evacuating the planet Earth and taking control of it by imprisoning human beings and using them as food, which are the primitives. The other group is interested in the divine, in humans. So the other group is interested in the divine in humans by breeding the genes into the human beings. This is the group that Id, mother of Enki, came from. The word Zeta is the sixth letter in the Greek alphabet. The early letter Zeta was originally an I. The Greek alphabet came from the Phoenicians. The letter Z is the replica of the cobra snake, which resembles the symbol for the Zeta Reticuli. Zeta Reticulans. The letter Zayn, Zayn, Z, is the seventh letter of the Hebrew alphabet and it means weapon. In the Canaanite language, the letter Z was used as a Z, also means weapon. The letter Zay, Z-A-A-Y, is the 11th letter of the Ashuric Syriac Arabic alphabet. As the numeral Zayin denotes 7, another type of draconian species is called gargoyles. that have special wings which can flap of skin, which are flaps of skin supported by long ribs of Dracona. They can be folded back against the body. It is obvious that the qualities have been ascribed to vampires. Take a note, take a close look at this word vampire. V, empires. So that you do, so what you do, so what do you get? Vulcan Empire. V, look at the word vampire. V, an empire. So what do you get? Vulcan Empire. The male species of the gargoyles are called Valkyria, Valkyria, and they have the ability to fly. They nurture the eggs and the females just lay them. These beings are also known as the Dracon race, and the symbology usually includes the winged serpent. There are elements of their species which do not have wings, called the soldier class and scientists. There are many different breeds of draconians, just as there are many different breeds of humans. The draconian women loved Enlil because he was bringing down groups of Anunnaki men to quiet Earth, which gave them an opportunity to copulate with them. The leader amongst the draconian, Sidorhis, Sid D. His, felt that if they, so we're going to page 9174. No, 175. Mix their seeds with other beings, then they would be included in the interplanetary confederation. However, whatever decisions Enlil made, Enki disagreed with. This caused chaos on Earth. However, Nudimmud, Enki's, and Nunamer, Enlil's disagreement began when Antum, the wife and half sister of Anu, gave her highest servant, Iyd, to her husband, Anu, to bear him a child. Atun gave Iyd to Anu because she could not beget children. It's Mother's Day, still affecting me. The mention of children is such a trigger. Help me, Malachi. Okay, Melchizedek. She couldn't bear children. Sounds familiar. Id and Anu had a son named Nudimud, later to be called Enki, who was the firstborn son of Anu. A messenger came to Anu to tell him that Antum would bear a child, whose name would be Nunamir, later to be called Enlil. Atun had given birth to Enlil, and after some time Atun became jealous of IYD's relationship with Anu, of course. So she asks Anu to put IYD and her child out. Anu complied and sent IYD and Enki to Eridu, referred to as the desert. IYD went to live with her people in the underground tunnels of the earth. This made Enki angry. By Nubarian rules of succession, Enlil became the legal heir instead of Enki. Set up a little bit. I think my battery's charged enough. 71%. Hmm. Where's my rate? Where's my rate? So, 160. So, Enki believed that Enlil stole his birthright. Oh, a minute. Birthright. 161. When all had arrived to Earth, Enlil had meetings with the Anunnaki to break into tribes and spread out to 7 different cities. 1. Tilmun, 2. Salam, 3. Mu, 4. Lemuria, 5. Kodesh, 6. Nufair, and 7. Akalan, Akalibulan. However, the Kauko and Nushu could no longer take the blasphemy of Nudimud, who named the city after himself Nod, and welcomed all sorts of outside beings who had come to the planet Earth, who wandered in and out. He called them aliens, set up laws and borders with restrictions, creating a first immigration laws. Enki gave many khutbahs, sermons, that were supposed to be a moral builder to prepare the Anunnaki for this new frontier. However, Enki did the contrary, and many were weak. Many were weak that had listened to him, and they never did this kind of hard work before. Mining was new to them. Many left families behind on Rix and other planets where families were, so Enki sounded very impressive, and also because Enki was not present to speak on behalf of his father's rule, he, Enki, utilized the migration of Anakites, who were the giants in the earth as well as warriors. Enki made them his Lugals, his warlords, and head of his own police department. They robbed villages after villages, confiscating the wealth. This police department even harassed Niski and Cow. Yeah. So the 600 that came to Kwai Earth now broke up into two groups of 300 each, male and females. Those who followed Enki, who was surrounded himself to Hindu deities called Leviathans, and surrendering to their customs and traditions, and even went as far as to raise the Grotiks Ishtar, also called Anana, to be a supreme deity called Sin or Sin. You had those who followed. 176 is a picture. Figure 52. Cow, ruler of the lower class. 177. It takes time to do this. I need a moderator. 177. The ruler in Leo, once Nisqua and Cacao could no longer take the things that Enki was doing. They moved on, ships after ships, until they found open plains in the Sinai Peninsula. They landed and proceeded further north to set up 7 cities. They were called one Tammuz, Salam, Mu, Lemuria, Christie, all that stuff. The second city in Aklas. Okay, the city Nippur was also called Nabruki, and it was also ruled by Enlil. It was the most important city and considered the navel of the earth. This is where he built the Darga, sacred chamber, where he kept the tablets of all, the Akasha records, and the Duranki bond of heaven and earth. The Duranki was a communication satellite system station built in to use as a bond between the Anunnaki living on the planet Earth and those that manned the craft Nibiru, the Igigi. He also built a place called Larsa, meaning seeing the red light, to keep close relationships between the Anunnaki and the Igigi. The Igigi are the beings that stayed in the skies and manned the craft Nibiru when the Anunnakis came down to Earth. The word Igigi means those who stayed in the skies, and the Sumerian translated as those who see and observe. The, in, the Igigi remained in constant orbit around the planet Earth, acting as intermediaries between Earth and Nibiru. So now we have two separate societies of Anunnakis on Earth. The Democrats who have become agreeable and the Republicans who have become disagreeable and live in the 7 cities, Super, Kish, Kuta, all that. And Lil set up democracy from the French Democrates, from Latin, all this meaning people. So the Democrats mean people, and the government was set up as their original home on planet which was ruled. Wow. Wow. So Enki set up the republic, and the French republic from the French, the Latin word, all that stuff. Republica, meaning thing, publica, female of publicus, meaning of the people, to repopulate the planet Earth. He told an Anunnaki that he would bring their families back together so that they can rule the planet. Thus, they had the administrators and workers. The people of Enlil wore nose rings in their right nostrils, and the people of Enki wore a gold earring in their right ear. That's important to know. I had a nose ring in my right ear, right? Yeah, my right ear. Hmm. However, the ruler of the groups wore both the nose rings and earrings in their left ear when there was peace and happiness. The women wore it both in the nose and in both ears. This was passed down from generations to generations. The people of Enlil became the Ishmaelite tribes of today, and the people of Enki became the Israelites tribes of today. This created two castes, four groups of people that were to work the actual mines called laborers, and the three groups that were to work the laboratory. Page 78. Processing all these minerals, logging, charting, and managing. So, in time, after many years of living on the planet Earth, many problems arose. A revolt was starting in the lower mines amongst the lower class of Anunnakis, and it was bothering the higher class. The Anunnakis were complaining that the work was too hard and tiresome. Tablet 2, the revolt. Lo, when the Anunnaki spread the Inushites, did the work and bore the loads, the Anunnaki's load was to get too great for them. The work was too hard, the trouble was too much. The great Ijiji made the Anunnakis carry the workload sevenfold, for it was they that maintained and manned the crafts for transport. Anu, their heavenly father, was ruler. Anu is the title. The name was Elo, as Allah, Elo, Allah. He as the sun god, and his twin and disagreeable sister was Alat. She is the moon god. So we have to recognize them both. I've heard of Alat being the moon god, but I never associated with Allah. Anu, them being twins. Their counselor warrior was Enlil Nunemer. Their chamberlain was Ninurta. Their canal controller was Enungi, also spelled Enugi. They took the box of 13 lots and cast lots. The Anunnakis made the divisions. Anu went up to the ship, the barrel, which was hovering in the sky above, and Enlil Nunemer, the just ruler for his people, took the earth from his brother Enki, Nudimon, and became the god or law of the heavens and the earth, called the light of Fusu, the sun. The name Allah is from the cuneiform Elu, which was to become Eli, or Elo. This Allah of Anu appointed another Allah, and Enlil, who appointed another Allah, Tammuz, his great grandson, being the son of his granddaughter Ishtar and Dumuzi, the youngest son of Enki. So Tammuz became known as Yahweh and Allah, the light of the heavens and earth, the first or one God over the earth and those Enushites on it. He who has a perfect nature to be the God of the Enushites, knowing good from evil. The sea was assigned for to far-sighted Enki, Nudimud. He was given he was given the ability to see long distance at a glance. When Anu had gone up to the ship, Nibiru in the sky, and the Anunnakis of the Agartha, the inner world, had gone below, above became heaven, and below became hell to the Anunnakis and their clones. The Gigi of the sky made the Anunnaki bear the workload. The Anunnaki had to dig out canals. They had to clear channels, using the crafts to bore tunnels to the inner world. The Anunnaki dug out the Tigris River and then dug out the Feratu Euphrates, for there was much gold to be mined in the deep, and a land called Erudu that they set up after coming from the domain AGA AGAARTA, the inner world, to mine the gold of the land and dwell inside it. UBAID, the temple of respect, was first raised to its top so that its 179 is a figure 53 of Inuji, the canal controller. Wow, it looks like people I've seen before. Its illustriousness could be seen and stand out of all the mountains. 18. They were counting the shares of loaves of gold that was being transported from the great marsh. They were counting the shars of loaves for 3,600 years, the original orbit on one shar. They bore the access, hard work, shadow hours, and daylight. They groaned and blamed each other, grumbled over the masses of excavated soil. Let us confront Ninurta, our chamberlain, and get him to relieve us of our hard work, they said. Come, let us carry Enlil, Nunamar, the counselor of the Anunnaki, the warrior, from his dwelling. Then Kalkal made his voice heard and spoke to the Anunnaki and the Anakites, his brothers. Come, let us carry Ninimir, the council of the Anunnaki, the warrior, from his dwelling place. Now, cry battle. Let us mix fight with battle. The Anunnakis listened to his speech and set fire to their tools, put aside their spades for fire and their loads for shamash. They flared up. When they reached the gate of the warrior Nunamir's dwelling, It was shadow hour, the middle watch. The house was surrounded. The Anunnakis had not realized it was shadow hour. The middle watch occurred the temple in which the house of Nunamir, known as Kwai as Enlil, was surrounded, and he had not realized it. Yet Kalkal was attentive and had it closed. He held the lock and watched the gate. Kalkal rose the Kosh, Nushu, Kush. They listened to the noise of the Anunnaki. Then Nusku roused his master, and summoned him to get out of bed. My Sultan master, your house is surrounded. A rebel is running around your door. Nunamir had weapons brought to his dwellings. Nunamir made his voice heard and spoke to the chief Nusku, who bore the title Gabriel, saying, Nusku, bar your door, take up your weapons, and stand in front of me. Nusku barred his door, took up his weapons, and stood in front of Nunamir. Nusku made his voice heard and spoke to the warrior Nunamir. Oh, Nunamir, my ruler, your face is frowning like you have tasted of the date root of tamarisk. Tamarisk. Why do you fear your own sons? Send for Anus to be brought down to you, and have Numud fetched into your presence. And Lil sent for Anu to be brought down to him. Enki was fetched into his presence. Anu, ruler of the sky, was present. Enki sent us to Agatha, the inner world, attended. The great Anunnaki were present. Anu, the ruler of the sky, was present. Enki, sentence in Aghaarta, the inner world, attended. The great Anunnakis were present. Nunamir got up, and the case was Nunamir made his voice heard and spoke to the great Anunnaki. It was against me that they had risen. Shall I do battle with them all? What did I see with my own eyes? A rebel was running around my door. 181. Anu made his voice heard and spoke to the warrior Nunamir. Let Nakush, let Nusku go out and hear the words of the Anunnaki who had surrounded your door. A command was sent to the just Nunamir, who made his voice heard and spoke to the chief Nusku. Nusku, open your door, take up your weapons, and stand before me in the assembly of all the Anunnaki. Bow, then stand and tell them your father Anu El, your counselor Nanamir, your chamberlain Ninurta, and he who is your water canal controller Enuji have sent me to say, who is in charge of the rebellion? Who is in charge of the fighting? Who declares war? Who ran to the door of Nunamir? Nushu opened his door and took up his weapons, went before Nunamir in the assembly of all the Anunnaki. He bowed, then stood in Tafu and told the message. Nunamir said, every single one of us Anunnakis declare war. I declare war to I declare war today. Yeah, I'll take that synchronistically. I declare war today. Who ran the door up the okay to the 58? We have put a stop to the digging. The load is excessive. It's it is killing us. It is killing me. Our work is too hard and the trouble is too much. So every single one of us Anunnakis have agreed to complain to Nunamir. NUSKU took his weapons, went and returned to NUNAM Nunamir. Nunamir listened to that speech. His tears flowed. Nunamud spoke guardedly. He addressed the warrior Enlil, O Naya, the noble one. Take a decree with you to the sky. Show your strength while the Anunnakis are sitting before you. Call upon one Anunnaki and let them cast him for destruction. Yes. El Eloho as Anu made his voice heard and spoke to the Anunnaki, his brothers. What are we complaining of? This is for the youth. I will take my leave and return to Nibiru. The decisions I leave in your hands, but make it right. When his craft had departed, the Allahum began to reassert their personal feelings concerning the workers. It was said that their work was indeed too hard, their trouble was too much. Every day the earth resounded. All those on earth called out. The warning signals was loud enough, and we kept hearing the noise of the cries. While the Anunnakis are sitting before you, while BELET-ILLI, also known as NINHURSAG, Ninma, and Ninti, the womb deity, is present. She gave the Adamites the gift of procreation. Call upon one and cast him for destruction. Enki made his voice heard and spoke to the Anahum, his brothers, in the absence of Anu. Why are we blaming them? Their work was too hard. Their trouble was too much. BELETILLI, verse 72. The mistress of the sky is present. Let her create a mortal Adamite, so that he may bear the yoke, the work of Nudimmud. Let Inushites bear the load of the Anunnaki. BELETILLI, Ninti, the mistress of the sky. Let us create offsprings of the Adamites, and let the Inushites bear the load of the Anunnaki. Ninti made her voice heard. And 182 is the figure 54, Mother Ninti, the great scientist. All hail Mother Ninti. Give me a moment. I want to share this to Facebook before I forget. 183. Spoke to the great Anunnakis. It is not proper for me to make Admu or Adurus or Adiuru. The Chaldeans called this man Adam, whom the earth produced. He lays without movement, without life, and without breath, just like an image of the Adam that was created on Malakut, until his soul has been given to the physical Adam, according to Jewish traditions in the Targum and the Tal Talmud, as also to Moses, Maimonides. Adam was created man and woman at the same time, a hermaphrodite. A hermaphrodite. The work is NUDMMUDs. He makes everything pure. If he gives me clay and test tubes of genes, then I will do it. I will start the cloning. So NUDIMMUD made his voice heard and spoke to the great Anunnakis on the 1st, 7th, and 15th of the month. I shall make a purification of by washing. Then one Anunnaki named GISHTU/GESHTU should be slaughtered for a willing sacrifice. Who was willing to give his life for the life of another man, that they may be saved? And let the egg of the ape woman, a Homo erectus, be mixed with the Anunnaki. Hmm. Let them be purified by immersion to become a single person. Ninti shall mix the tilt, that which is with life, the clay, with his seru, to bind that which binds flesh and his blood, and to obtain the tima, that which makes a person which he is and different from anyone else, personality, from the blood. Today it is called gene, an extract from the shuru or kisru, the seeming, simply sea man or men of the sea, as a tadpole coming from a non Anunnaki male member. This was clone 1 of 16. Wow. I am a clone, I guess. Then Anunnaki as a Adamite will be mixed together in clay. This Anunnaki is Mother Ninti, and this Adamite of the Adama project named Adam Adiuru. Now he is a Homo sapien now, who was once a Homo erectus. Thus, they are ready for the making and the creating of Kadmon. Let us hear the drum beat, forever after. Let an Etherean like wind, Rook, Rookh, come into existence from the Anunnaki's flesh. Let her proclaim it as his living side, and let the Etherians who are a Rookh exist so as not to forget the slain Anunnaki, Geshtue. They answered yes, and the assembly, the great Anunnaki, who assigned the fates, the 24 elders, Nema, also known as Ninti, says to Enki, on the form of man, good or bad, I will decree a fate that is good or bad as I feel like it. The gift of will. Enki answered Nema, the fate that comes to you, whether it is good or bad, I will counter. Nema took the clay that covers the Abzu, the first one she made, into a man who, when reaching, could not bend his rigid hands, which resulted in the disease called arthritis, where brittle bones come from. Enki, seeing the first man who was reaching could not bend his rigid hands, decreed fate for him, named him a servant of the king. The second one she made into man who could see, though blind. Enki, seeing this man, decreed his fate and gave him the art of song, named him chief of the USUMGAL-LYRE, page 184. Figure 55, GESHTUE, the Anunnaki slain for the birth of Lulu Amilu. Oh, slain. Wow, he looks familiar too. The dragon lair before the king, this defect produced stigmatism in the human today. The third she made into a man with paralyzed feet. This defect produced paralysis, paralyzed, paralyzed. Enki, seeing the man with paralyzed feet, gave him his Milam, terrifying glance radiance like a silver bowl. The fourth she made into a man who kept dripping semen. This defect produced the disease spermatoria. Enki, seeing the man who kept dripping semen, and he bathed him with incantation water of the holy Sumer. The fifth she made into a woman who could not give birth. This defect produced sterility. 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 Wow, that was the fifth. Enki, seeing the woman who could not give birth, decreed a fate for her, and he built her a harem. This was the beginning of adoptions. The sixth she made into something without a phallus or a vulva on its body. This defect produced the caudal regression. Enki, seeing something without a phallus or vulva on his body to serve the one Enlil, had called by name over the great earth. The ruler decreed his fate. Thus the beginning of the Enochs, used as servants. Enki threw the brazier incense burner to the ground for no reason, for he was having a tantrum. He acted most deceitfully. Enki says to Ninma, "For every one you have formed, I have decreed their fate and have given them bread. Now I will make some for you, and you decree the fate of the newborn." Enki made a form with a head, eyes, mouth, ears, and in its center a nose. He says to Ninma, "The phallus made semen poured into the woman's womb. It had made the woman give birth to her womb, the beginning of artificial insemination." Ninma, in anticipation, stood by at its birth. That woman brought forth a head with a mouth in its center of it. The second one he made into an UMUL with its head sick. It was hydrocephalic. Its brain was deteriorating, which resulted in the disease called aneurysm. And its old body was sick in its place, which produced the disease called degeneration. Sick was its eyes, sick was its neck, breath at an end, ribs shaky, lungs sick, heart sick, bowels sick. The hand that supported from his head could not put bread in its mouth. It splintered and caused a suffering spine and pain, shoulders drooping, feet shaky. It could not walk forward to work the field. Enki says to Ninma, "For every one you formed, I decree this fate. I have given its bread. Now you declare the fate of the one I formed. Give him bread." Ninma, when she saw Umul, turned to him. She approaches Umul, questions him, but he could not speak. She brought him bread to eat. He could not reach it. She could not use his hand. He could not use his hand. Having stood up, he could not sit down. He could not lie down. He could not build a house. He could not eat bread. Enki says to Ninma, "For the man with the rigid hand, I decree his." 186. Fate. I gave him bread. For the man who was blind, I decreed his fate and gave him bread. For the man with paralyzed feet, I decreed his fate. I gave him bread. For the man who kept dripping semen, I decreed his fate and gave him bread. For the woman who could not give birth, I decreed her fate and gave her bread. For the one without phallus, penis, or vulva, vagina, I decreed the fate and gave him bread. My sister, now you decree the fate of Umul. Give him bread. Ninma, degenerates, or attacks verbally. Enki, as one who has paid no heed to what happens in the land, and accuses him of not coming to her aid, and of even betraying her when, at the command of Enlil, her city was attacked, her temple destroyed, her son carried off into captivity, so that she fled Enlil's Eker mountaintop and became a refugee. See, you did not dwell in heaven. You did not dwell on earth. You did not bring your life, your lifted face to the land. Your word was not heard in the house built for me. You did not live on the earth. You betrayed me in the city built for me. My city attacked, my house destroyed, my son taken captive. Here I am, a refugee, one who fled the Ikar. Now I have not freed myself from your hand. Enki answered Ninmah, a word comes out of your mouth agreeable. Who can alter it? Umul, the crippled old creature of creation, take him off your lap. All has surely looked with favor upon your work. He has given you, but he has given by you an imperfection hand. Who can oppose him? Take my hand, for worthless is its use. Take back his hand. Put your hand on its mouth. Now may my phallus be acclaimed. May it become a wisdom endower. May the ENKUM, your rulers, and the NINKUM, noble ladies, exalt you forever. Ninkum, noble ladies, Ninkum. Oh, my sister, do not extol my heroic strength. Do you utter songs for me? The deities who hear them will rejoice. The UMUL, let him build my house. O Father Enki, sweet is your praise. On the 1st, the 7th, and the 15th of the month, he made a purification by washing. Geshtue, and Anunnaki who had intelligence, they slaughtered in their assembly. He was a willing sacrifice. Verse 144. 145. Ninti first washed her hands and then mixed his shiru, the flesh and blood. They heard the drum beat forever after. A Rookh, the soul, came into existence from the Anunnaki flesh, and she, Ninti, proclaimed it as his living sign. The Rookh existed so as not to forget Geshtue after she had mixed. Page 187. That tilt, that tit, TIIT, clay. She called up the Anunnaki, the great Elohim, the Igigi, the great Elohim, spittle upon the clay. Mami, who was also called Ninti, and Ninhusag, made her voice heard and spoke to the great Anunnaki. I have carried out perfectly the work that you ordered of me. You have slaughtered an Anunnaki. Together with his intelligence, I have relieved you of your hard work. I have imposed your load on humans. You have bestowed noise on humans. I have undone the fetters and granted with freedom. They listened to the speech of hers and were freed from anxiety and kissed her feet. We used to call you Mammy, but now your name shall be Mistress of all Anunnaki, the giver of Nephish, the spirit. Tablet 3. The birth of slaves. Lo, Nudimmud, and wise Mammy went into the room of fate. The womb deities were assembled. He trod the clay in her presence. She kept reciting an affirmation for Nudimmud, staring in her presence made her recite it. I am in love of the all, and all love is in me. I am part of the all, and the all is a part of me. I can succeed as a part of the all and fell as an individual. I can be all that I wish in the all, as long as my wish is to stay in the all. I am never alone. The all is the all. I am. Pieces on the right and 7 on the left. Between them, she put down a mud brick. She used a reed, opened it up to cut the umbilical cord. She called up the wise and knowledgeable womb deities, 7 and 7. 7 created males, 7 created females. The master of the sky is creator of the flesh, that he bred them 2 by 2 in her presence. Mammy made these rules for people. In the house of a woman who is given birth, BELET ILLI, comma, wise mammy shall be honored. The midwife will rejoice in the house of the woman who gives birth. And when the woman gives birth to the baby, the mother of the baby shall sever herself. A man to a girl, and a girl to her bosom. A beard can be seen on a young man's cheek. In gardens and waysides, a wife and her husband choose each other. The womb deities were assembled, and Ninti was present. They counted the months, called up the 10th month as the term of fates. When the 10th month came, she slipped in a staff and opened the womb, and she recited, Ya fa tu ya al when again that's the okay. the Al Fatiha, page 188.